RJ, what up? You gotta use the word stands, bro. Stands. Running Back Nation, what is good, man? Some people in the chat are asking what's the intro music. It is it's just a beat that's on YouTube creator section in the YouTube studio. It's a way for creators to get copyright free music, and that beat was in there and I liked it and I've been using it ever since. I have no idea who made it. But shout out to whoever made it. I like it too. Shout out my guy Nick Marchetti in the chat. Yeah, before I get started, I do want to say this. I have been blocked on Twitter by Philly Sixers Galaxy. Now, those that have been watching the show for a long time know that I've put Philly Sixers Galaxy on this show hundreds of times probably. We're probably talking about hundreds of thousands of free views, and I'm not here to, slander anybody for how they feel or whatever, but I don't really know what I said to Sixers Galaxy to get blocked on Twitter. If it's just the fact that I tweeted I wasn't impressed by the Joel Embiid article, then that is pretty wild. But those are the responses I've been getting anyway, because that Joel Embiid article was polarizing, but the response to it has been that of, what I'm used to with this new generation, which is I call you guys algorithm babies, man. And what an algorithm baby is, it's a kid that grew up on an algorithm, okay? And let me explain to you what happens here. You grow up with an algorithm. You only see what you're interested in, what you enjoy, and what you agree with. So then you go outside and somebody says something that doesn't align with your algorithm, and you're like, what the fuck? How could you possibly? So that's what it is today. It's algorithm babies. And if, when something comes out like this, everybody has the same opinion, at least on Twitter and social media. And I am not afraid to say what I honestly feel. Some people have called it a gimmick, whatever they want to call it. They think I get angry intentionally for views. They think I wake up and say, I got to say something negative about the Sixers today because that's how I get views, or that's the only way I get views. Look, if you think I'm overly negative and angry, that's fine. But thinking that I wake up and intentionally say something negative because it's just not true. All I know is I hear a Sixers thing, I think what I think about it, I say it out loud, and then I say it in front of the camera. Take it or leave it. But this is the era that we live in now, that if you say, disagree with the main opinion of anything, people do not want to associate with you. So I'm assuming that's why I got blocked by Sixer Galaxy. You're welcome, Sixer Galaxy, for the hundreds of thousands of free views that I've given you over the years. You had barely 1,000 followers when I first found your Twitter page. I'm shocked that you're not over 5,500 at this point. I thought you would have been at like 20 or 50 or something. But anyway, yes, that did happen. Are we going to make an entire podcast episode based on a Tyrese Maxey tweet? Answer, yes, we are. Question, why? Answer, because it's July 21st, and we're not really talking about anything besides the WNBA. But I do, and the normal everyday Eagles debate on Twitter, which is the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Non-Eagles fans, any quarterback could have done that with that overpowered team. Jalen Hurts isn't great. Eagles fans, Jalen Hurts threw a kill shot up 27-0 in the Super Bowl and did not throw 4 interceptions and lost the game. And that's the only thing that I see on the internet right now on July 21st. But I did see a Tyrese Maxey tweet, and I want to talk about it because I want to talk about, I think, winner's mentality, all right? And then there is a Hoop Central post that gave the odds to make the playoffs for every NBA team. If you haven't seen where they have the 76ers at, stay tuned for that. Super chat from my man Martin Santiago. Last time I was this early, my first sergeant was actually proud of me. What's good? I need to hear this Maxey thing, bro. Shout out to Martin Santiago. I told this story before. I'll probably tell it again. A couple years ago, Martin Santiago sent me a screenshot watching my show on a phone in a bunker during a military training. That is what I call sicko behavior. Shout out to Martin, and thank you for the super chat. All right, before we get into it, this is brought to you by our friends at Mando, and this is Mando's brand new Deodorant Plus Sweat Control that I've been using for a couple of weeks now. I've been outside this summer. I've been doing a lot more cardio, and I've been doing some mountain biking, all right? I'm trying to, look, I've been working out for most of my life, but I've never had really good definition. So I'm working on a little bit more cardio and cutting calories and things like that, seeing what I can do. And with that more cardio comes more sweat, and that's why I've been using Mando Plus Sweat Control. This stuff is dry. It's so dry, bro. It's like it doesn't even, it's like it's not even there. You can't even feel it. But it controls your sweat, and it controls your odor for up to 72 hours. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, now get 20% off everything on the website using my code SICKOS, SICKOS, at shopmando.com. 20% off the entire website and free shipping using SICKOS. So stop stinking up the joint. Use Mando. Support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. 310 people in here. Give me 310 likes on the show. Let's get into it, man, because the Tyrese Maxey tweet just started, made me want to talk about winning mentality and who has it and who doesn't. Do I think Tyrese Maxey has it? Yes, I do. Because so far in Tyrese Maxey's career, and here's the tweet for those that haven't seen it, all he tweeted was, y'all talking y'all mess on this app this summer. Understood. He sees nothing but hate from Sixers fans directed at the Sixers or the Sixers organization on the internet. Because Sixers fans went through a brutal, brutal season last season, and they've lost all faith in this team to get anything done because they don't believe Joel Embiid is healthy. They don't believe Paul George is going to be healthy. They don't believe the roster was, improved in the maybe in the margins, but you didn't have any money to spend. And Sixers fans have said what they said about Tyrese Maxey last season, where, he was, thrown into the fire without the guys that he thought that were going to be there. But he did not have a great season shooting-wise. A lot of the games were, 30 shot attempts. A lot of his shots were bad shots, forced three-pointers. He had games where he shot over 13 threes. It was not a good season for Tyrese Maxey either. And he's standing up and he's taking it on the chin, He's not standing up and saying, I can't do it alone, right? He's not tweeting, Embiid and Paul George weren't here the whole season, so I had to do this and I had to do this, and this didn't work out because of this reason, right? He's not paying somebody to come into his house to do an exclusive interview so he can give 4 hours of reasons why it didn't work out. No. He's just tweeting. I see the criticism. Understood. This is all we want from athletes in Philadelphia. This is all we want from athletes. Because nobody gives a fuck, to be totally honest. We're just watching a sport, you know? The Embiid article was, if reading this article didn't change the way you feel about Joel Embiid, what? You know? Somebody said, I can't believe that you didn't take this article as viewing the human side of my opinion is NBA players are human. Breaking news. I don't care. Can you get on the floor this summer or this season or not? Let me know if I'm going to go through what I went through last season or not. I know he's human. I know he has a family. I know he's probably a nice guy, all that stuff. We don't care. And we don't have to care. We're paying money and spending time to watch a basketball game and a basketball team. And all we want to know is the player that drives this team going to be there or not? I don't have to care about Joel Embiid's personal life or everything he went through in the process over the last 10 years. If I wanted a sob story from somebody, I would go find somebody who's been through actual struggle. I'm not saying Joel Embiid hasn't been through actual struggle from where he came from, and I'm not saying people that get rich don't still have struggle. But if I wanted a sob story, I wouldn't go to an NBA player. That's all I'm saying. If that's wrong, that's fine. Tyrese Maxey, we haven't gotten that from him. All we get is, I see the criticism, understood. That's all Philly fans want, man. You know? Let's look at a quote from Kelly Oubre last year when the Sixers booed them. Did Kelly Oubre say, here's all the reasons we sucked? Nope. He said, listen, man, I was very adamant. I haven't been booed here yet. It was just like, if we don't pick it up, they're going to boo us out of the gym. Maybe out of the city. It was a message, honestly, that was straightforward, and not even me, everybody felt it. That's all we want. You know? We're not here to slander your personal life. If you suck when you're out on the floor, or you're going on your third season of not being healthy, the criticism is warranted. That's why it bothers me. Because I don't want to hear his fucking life story. I want him to say, hey, last year sucked for the fans. I feel for the fans. This year, I'm getting in training camp, and I'm getting in shape, and I'm getting I'm fixing my diet or whatever, and I'm starting my ramp up maybe 3 months before the season instead of game one, and the fans are gonna, they're gonna be happy this season with the product. That's what we want. I don't care what happened in 2014. Another quote. This one from, let's see, Bryce Harper on Philly fans booing. And Bryce Harper said, I would have done the same thing. That was his whole comment on Philly fans' criticism or booing or whatever. Bryce Harper, I would have done the same thing. We sucked. Kelly Oubre, they almost booed us out of the building. It was a message. We better pick it up. Tyrese Maxey, I hear you. I hear the criticism. Let's go. I got you. Jalen Hurts has commented on booing before. In a post-game press conference, he just talked about what the team can control and focus on the controllables. Jalen Hurts addressed the booing and stated that he tried not to let it affect him or his team's focus. He acknowledged the fans' passion and emphasized the importance of their support for the defense, particularly when the offense struggled. He had consistently maintained that he focuses on improving his own performance and that of the team, regardless of outside criticism or praise. Correct. Now let's go back to maybe a couple of Joel Embiid quotes on, after a big loss. Me and James Harden, we just can't win alone. That's why basketball is played 5-on-5. We need everybody to try to keep finding ways to get better. That is not what the fans want to hear. When you fold in a game 6 and then you completely don't show up in a game 7. And this is where this is the point. 2 years ago when they lost that game 6 and they didn't show up for game 7, and then I heard him say this after the game. This is where I started to come to my conclusion that I don't think Joel Embiid has a winner's mentality. I think he's the most skilled big man I've ever seen. I think he has a freakish combination of size and skill. And he does have a resiliency getting on the floor, playing through injury. But when it comes to stuff like this, it does start to sound like excuse making. And then, we go through a whole season of a ramp up and he's not playing. And then I get an article that's 4 hours long of more excuse making. That's just where I'm at with it. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Are you going to get on the floor? Are you going to play? Joel Embiid also tweeted this, don't forget, about Philly fans booing. And he didn't say, this was 2021 when he commented on Philly fans booing, right? And he said, I haven't forgotten, but 2 years ago, I got booed. People in Philly wanted me to be traded. I even shushed them. Only the real ones didn't. Why? But I just put the work in that offseason to be better because I knew I wasn't playing up to my potential. I respect that. Philly fans, y'all also gotta be better. Do you guys remember this? Y'all also gotta be better. What exactly do Philly fans have to do better for you, Joel Embiid? You see what I'm saying here? This point might be getting clear and across. It might be some people might completely disagree with this. But there, like with Joel Embiid, there always has to be this thing at the end. Philly fans, y'all also got to be better. And me and James can't do it alone. And whatever. And I got booed. Only the real ones didn't. Things like that. Nah, bro. Like, fans, again, spend time and money coming to an arena, and you're a scratch 5 minutes before the game starts. Their kids are there wearing Joel Embiid jerseys. You're never healthy, man. And when you're on the court and you're not playing up to par, you're going to get booed. And this was years ago, but another example of kind of not a winner's mentality to me. Philly fans, y'all also got to be better. No, we don't. No, we absolutely do not. We watch the sport. We're going to let you know how we feel about what we're watching on the court. That's it. That's it. We don't got to be better. You got to be better. You're not healthy. You quit in Game 6 and Game 7 with James Harden. The next year, you came back from injury, played against the Knicks, but you weren't 100%. That's not your fault that you were hurt. And I always respect you for playing through injury, but you weren't 100%. The season after that, you played 13 games. The fans are tired of it, bro. They're tired of it. And this season is pivotal. This upcoming season is so pivotal for the Sixers and Joel Embiid. And I said that last season. I thought everybody was going to get fired last season. I'm absolutely blown away that we're going back into another season with basically the same roster and the same issues. But they're strapped with these contracts that Daryl Morey probably can't get rid of anyway. But this upcoming season, bro, the fans are out. You know what I mean? That's why Tyrese Maxey tweeted that, man. That's why he tweeted that, because the fans are out, bro. The real fans, they're not in on it. They're not excited. The fans are out. That's why he tweeted that. So this upcoming season, if Joel Embiid doesn't get on the court, bro, it's a wrap. Part of me also feels like Joel Embiid, especially after reading that article and the way that he talks about what he's been through and all the things that happened in Philadelphia and the criticism. And when he had that comment where he said, like, I've done so much for this city, I don't deserve this shit. I feel like Joel Embiid believes that he deserves that extension through 2029 because of putting his body on the line all of those times and playing through all of those injuries. But you can't hold a team hostage. You can't hold a fan base hostage. You are signed until 2029 for $69 million that year. 65 the year before, 60 the year before that. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And if you can't play, what are we supposed to do? Sit around every year watching the Sixers tank and just say, thank you, Joel Embiid, for everything you've done. You deserve this. You deserve all of this money to not play now. And then he said, like, I'm not going to rush back this time, you know? Somebody made a point yesterday, which was funny about that. I'm not going to rush back this time. But you played in the Olympics. You volunteered to play in the Olympics. You said, I'm not going to rush back this time. I'm going to take my time, even though you took a whole season last season to ramp up and didn't play a single game, basically. You say, well, this, you know, Philly fans want to hear, I'm going to play this season. You know? I understand the criticism. I'm going to play this season. I was hurt. I'm getting right for this upcoming season. Instead, you say, I'm going to take my time this time. I'm not going to rush back. But you volunteered to play in the Olympics? And you played in the Olympics? And then you basically didn't play the whole season? What are the fans exactly supposed to feel and think right now? Is what I'm saying. And this whole you have to have empathy for Joel Embiid, it's just not true. I urge you, please, to get off of Twitter and go outside. Go outside your house and talk to somebody about the 76ers. Go outside and talk to a real Sixers fan in the street. The first thing they're going to say to you is trade Joel Embiid. Every time I go outside, it's the first thing they say to me. They got to trade Joel Embiid. It's over. It's a wrap. He's done. Please get off your algorithm. Go outside and talk to somebody. Anyway. The last thing I'm going to say on it is it doesn't feel like Joel Embiid cares that much anymore. You know? With the whole, like, well, here's everything I've been through, and I'm going to take my time this time, and I'm not going to rush back anymore. And, bro, if your life is great, and you're happy, and you're content, and just retire, man. Like, we'll celebrate your career. Trust me, real Sixers fans will celebrate your career. They will. But we don't have to sit here until 2029 and feel sorry for you. We want to watch Sixers basketball, man. We want you to be able to win. I guess that's all I wanted to say on that topic. I respect Maxey's attitude, but I'm not doing this to myself again. Next year when Embiid has played 25 games and PG 35, both are shut down for the season, we will again be upset at this team. If that happens, everybody's getting fired. And then a new GM is going to have to try to figure out a way to get rid of some of these contracts. Like, you know, the bubble is going to burst at some point. You can't. I'm shocked that they're coming back for a year or two to do the same thing again. But you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, it didn't take very long last season for the arena to be basically empty and tickets selling for $1. That's going to happen real quick this upcoming season if something doesn't happen. Rob R, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, that's my take on it, man. I think Tyrese Maxey has a winner's mentality. I think he takes criticism the right way. He understands the Sixers did not play up to expectation last season. Everybody was hurt, but even along Tyrese Maxey's standards, he did not have a good season. He's not going to sit up here and make excuses. He's going to say, I hear the criticism. I got you. And I fully expect Tyrese Maxey to have a comeback season this upcoming season. Whether Joel Embiid is on the floor or not, whether Paul George is on the floor or not, I expect Tyrese Maxey to take another step forward this upcoming season. I expect to see a much better Tyrese Maxey this upcoming season. Because one thing Tyrese Maxey's going to do is he's going to watch his own film, which I don't believe some players on this team have ever done. He's going to criticize himself, and he's going to study it, and he's going to say, what did I do wrong here, here, and here throughout this season, and what do I need to do better to help the team win? And I think we're getting really close also to Tyrese Maxey putting the team on his own back. I thought he did it towards the end of last season. He started realizing, like, that I gotta do this. And then he was out with, I don't think he was really hurt. They committed to the tank. But I think this upcoming season, especially with Tyrese Maxey calling out Joel Embiid in a team meeting for his leadership, yeah, I think Tyrese Maxey's getting to the point where he's kind of over it. He's not second fiddle anymore, and he's ready to put the team on his back. And I expect to see a much more efficient Tyrese Maxey this upcoming season. Now, it would help if the 76ers had more of a facilitating point guard and he could play the two guard. I think Jared McCain is more of a point guard than Tyrese Maxey, but I don't have faith in Nick Nurse playing the right lineups. We're talking about a guy that played some of the wildest lineups last season you could ever imagine, with Gershon Yabusele at center, and Nick Nurse still thinks Tyrese Maxey is a point guard. I think Tyrese Maxey is a two guard. I think he's best coming off screens, getting downhill, using his speed, putting him in advantageous situations. Maxey's not really an ISO guy, but we'll see what happens. But I expect a better season from Tyrese Maxey. I do. Let's look at Hoops Central. They had a tweet. Every team's chances to make the playoffs this upcoming season. And it's a photo of Kevin Durant with the Rockets, because the Rockets have now a much higher chance to, well, they were second seed in the West last year, so their chances of making the playoffs were there. I would assume Houston Rockets' chances of making the playoffs on this list are one of the teams that are at 100%. Yeah, they are. The Rockets are at 100%. The Rockets' chances of winning the whole thing went up dramatically with adding Kevin Durant. They did lose Dylan Brooks and some others, but I think Kevin Durant, if healthy, and he's been healthy now for a couple of years, but I think Kevin Durant puts them over the top. I think look out for the Rockets. But anyway, on this list, they have the Philadelphia 76ers chances to make the playoffs at 25%. And, I said this is a championship roster if healthy. I say that all the time because Joel Embiid, if healthy, is an absolute unstoppable force, and any team that he's on when healthy is a championship contender. We have short-term memory loss. Shout out my girl Dory. But Joel Embiid hasn't been healthy now for going on 3 years. 3 years when he's healthy. So they're at 25% because nobody has any reason to believe he's going to be healthy. And his recent interview didn't really give us any belief either. He just said, I'm going to take my time coming back this time. I'm not going to rush back, even though I played in the Olympics when I probably shouldn't have. And that was my choice. I'm not going to take accountability for that, I'm going to blame it on the Sixers. They rushed me back. So it's 25%. Now, that's not a realistic number. That's basically, do you believe they're going to be healthy or not? 25%. Give me your percent in the chat. But anyway, I went to ChatGPT and I wanted to find out what the 76ers' actual playoff odds are across all betting platforms. And ChatGPT says, here's a solid overview of what current projections say about each NBA team's probability to make the playoffs. They have the 76ers. BetMGM has the 76ers at a 79%. It's still based off of whether or not you believe Joel Embiid is going to be healthy. These sports betting sites have the 76ers over 70%. So if you definitely believe they're not going to be healthy, I would advise you to go ahead and put a stack on the 76ers to not make the playoffs because the odds are in your favor. ESPN, SB Nation. What else did they give me? They gave me That's the NBA Finals. They gave me a general average of the 76ers chances to make the playoffs. Heavy favorites, 90+%. They got the 76ers here on another betting site. But yeah, around the 70% for the 76ers to make the playoffs. Oh, here's the average odds, right? 73%, 71%, 72%. But again, it's the Philadelphia if healthies. If you believe Joel Embiid is going to be healthy, you'll believe the 76ers can make the playoffs. If you believe Joel Embiid's not healthy, we're probably right around the 25% mark, and that is, do you think Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, and VJ Edgecombe and Jared McCain and Justin Edwards and Adembona can get the 76ers into the playoffs? I thought they could have had a lot more wins last season if the coach played the right players. I didn't think they were a championship contender by any means, but they wouldn't have been tanking if they would have played young athletes in the beginning of the season over, Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and all of Nick Nurse's favorite guys. But, 25%. 25%. Thanks for subscribing, Rahim Mali. Maxey can carry us how far? It's a team game. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's a team game, man. It depends how the roster is built around that player. It is what it is, man. Michael Jordan's first couple years in the league, he was averaging 40 points per game and losing and getting swept in the first round. Fans ain't going nowhere. We say the same thing every year. We will voice our frustration, but at the end of the day, we are Philly fans. We're going to love our teams. Loving your team is one thing. Actually paying money and showing up to the arena to watch the game, that's where the money comes from. Philip, if they re-sign Quentin Grimes, are you going out and buying a $200 authentic Quentin Grimes jersey? No, you're absolutely not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you are. The ownership needs fans to show up, or they're going to lose a lot of money, and then they're going to fire everybody, or they're going to sell the team or something like that. Sixers need a good first option. I don't think Maxey is a viable first option. He needs someone else to draw the defense. That's a general take. I don't totally disagree with that. Tyrese Maxey's percentages were wildly better when James Harden was the point guard. Harden stands will take that as the 76ers should have paid Harden. Harden wanted max money. They didn't want to give him a 4-year max contract. He never got a 4-year max contract, by the way. He signed 2 years with the Clippers. Now he signed another 2-year, I believe, with the Clippers. I think James Harden is a great point guard. I don't think at that stage of his career he was worth a 4-year max contract. Same way I don't feel like Paul George was worth it. I don't feel like Joel Embiid at this stage of his career with all the injuries was worth a max extension. Tyrese Maxey needs what James Harden brought to the offense, which is pass first. He's a pass first guy. James Harden has been an incredible scorer his whole career, but he's still, when you really watch him play, he's a point guard. He's a pass first guy, especially as his athleticism declines and becomes less of a scoring threat. He's a pass first guy. I agree with you. Tyrese Maxey needs a point guard, but I don't think it has to be a number one option. Tyrese Maxey needs an Eric Snow, Eric Snow to Allen Iverson. I think Tyrese Maxey needs that at the point guard position, and I think that would take Tyrese Maxey to the next level because he has flaws. He's not a perfect player, but when he's put in the right position, he's an NBA star. Tyrese Maxey is the one of only 4 76ers with multiple 50-point games in a single season, and those are Wilt Chamberlain, Joel Embiid, Allen Iverson, and Tyrese Maxey. That's not nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just think they haven't put him in the right positions the same way they haven't put Joel Embiid in the right positions, same way they didn't put Allen Iverson in the right positions. It is what it is, but yeah, there's that. What else we want to talk about, man? Oh, yeah. Speaking of James Harden and the Clippers, they are signing Chris Paul. Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, the Clippers are cooked, man. It is getting very close to the end for the LA Clippers, and the reason I'm saying this in relation to the 76ers is the 76ers have the LA Clippers unprotected 2028 first-round pick. And so please, LA Clippers, keep doing what the 76ers are doing, which is signing old players. Chris Paul was still good with the San Antonio Spurs when he was there, but, you know, he's damn near 40. Please, Clippers, keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing. The Los Angeles Fossil Fuels. And they took on Bradley Beal. Bro, Bradley Beal and James Harden on defense. Like, you want to talk about Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain or two undersized guards on the defensive end. James Harden and Bradley Beal are supposed to play defense? Yikes. Before I get out of here, man, shout out to everybody. Thank you for hanging out. 368 people. Hit the like button for me one time. We're just chilling. We're just chopping it up. We're just talking about anything we can find to talk about. Embiid and PG retire. The Sixers will suddenly have the cap space for an amazing roster. Well, I wouldn't go amazing because they had the cap space for an amazing roster, and Daryl Morey gave it all to Paul George. Embiid and George are finished. They should both have dignity and retire. The fans in this city are so gullible to believe in players who continuously show they can't get the job done. Well, nobody believes in it. So, you know, I don't know where you're getting this from, bro. The fans in the city don't believe in Embiid and George anymore. They don't believe in Daryl Morey. They don't believe in Nick Nurse. The fans in the city don't believe any of that. And the attendance last year shows you. You don't think the Clippers are loaded. Absolutely not, bro. Loaded? They lost their second scorer last season, Norman Powell. Norman Powell, underrated his whole career. Yeah, James Harden, being the facilitator that he is, you know, took Norman Powell to another level scoring-wise, similar to what James Harden did with Tyrese Maxey, right? But Norman Powell was their number 2 scorer. Not Kawhi Leonard. Norman Powell. And he gone. And they replaced that with, what, Bradley Beal? Nah. I don't believe in the Clippers, man. I don't believe in the Clippers. One more thing, man. This came out by WIP the other day. Top 5 athletes of the last 25 years. Do you agree or disagree with this from WIP? Number 1, Brian Dawkins. Number 2, Allen Iverson. Number 3, Jason Kelce. Number 4, Lane Johnson. Number 5, Jalen Hurts. I love Brian Dawkins. Actually, Brian Dawkins and Allen Iverson are my 2 favorite Philly athletes of all time. But it depends what the criteria is for this list, right? Because Brian Dawkins never won a Super Bowl. Allen Iverson never won an NBA championship. And then you basically got 3 players who were on the Eagles Super Bowl team last year. And Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong about Lane Johnson, but Jason Kelce was on the 2017 Super Bowl team also. So Jason Kelce has 2 rings. I'm not sure about Lane. I think Lane Johnson's been around for a long time. I think he was on the 2017 team. But on the top 5, you would have to put the winners at the top, right? So if you're going to pick players off of Super Bowl winning teams, you know, you would have to put Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts, Nick Foles, Brandon Graham with the strip sack. You know, you'd have to put somebody that won at number 1, right? And how did you end up with no Phillies players on this list? From 2000 to 2025. The Philadelphia Phillies won the World Series in 2008. They went back to the World Series in 2009. You gotta put Chase Utley on there at least, right? Or Jimmy Rollins, or who was the number one pitcher on those World Series teams? Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee. There's got to be a Phillies player on there. Top 5 athletes of the last 25 years, it has to be guys who won the thing, right? Should Bryce Harper be on this list? Took the Phillies to a World Series. If you talk about Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson's the only Sixer on this list. The 76ers were in purgatory basically all of the 1990s until Allen Iverson got there. Like right after the Dr. J era, they were nothing. Charles Barkley, yeah, but didn't go far. I mean, Jerry Stackhouse was like the talk of the 76ers in the mid-90s. And then Allen Iverson came along and made the 76ers relevant, right? And after Allen Iverson, they were irrelevant again for a long time until who? Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid never took him to the NBA Finals, but that's why Allen Iverson is on there. And then if you look at the Phillies, in my opinion, the Phillies were irrelevant my entire childhood. The Atlanta Braves won the division 14 years in a row. 14, right? And then the Phillies had the World Series team, and it fizzled out pretty quickly, and you had a bad contract with Ryan Howard. And then they were irrelevant for a long time again, 11 years, if I'm not mistaken, until they signed Bryce Harper, who made the Phillies relevant again. I think Bryce Harper got to be on that list. If you're going to put Brian Dawkins, Allen Iverson on it, I think you got to put Bryce Harper on it. And then you got to put, you got to have players that have won the whole thing on there. I think you got to put Nick Foles on there, bro. Unless you're talking about longevity. If you're talking about longevity, then Nick Foles isn't on there. I don't know. Just an odd list to me. McNabb? Exactly. When I talk about Allen Iverson making the Phillies relevant, right, or the Sixers relevant, right, and Bryce Harper making the Phillies relevant, or you go back to the early 2000s, Ryan Howard and Chase Utley making the Phillies relevant. Yeah. The Eagles were irrelevant all of the 90s. You know? I went, dude, I was in school. I had the Eagles pullover starter jacket. Nobody had an Eagles jacket. Nobody would. There was no. It wasn't mainstream in the area to be an Eagles fan in the 90s. They were terrible, bro. We're talking about like Rodney Peete, Doug Peterson, Ty Detmer, fucking Irving Fryer. And then in 1999, Andy Reid came along, right? Unless he was 1998. Donovan McNabb came along. And Andy Reid hired Howie Roseman also. And he was his understudy. And now they've been relevant for 25 years. But before that, yeah, so I would, you might have to have Donovan McNabb on there. But what's the criteria? If you have to have a Super Bowl ring, then Brian Dawkins, Allen Iverson aren't on there. If you have to have a championship, then Brian Dawkins, Allen Iverson aren't on there. If it's longevity plus a championship, then it's players off of the 2017 and 2024 Eagles Super Bowl teams and players off the 2008 Phillies and maybe recent Phillies, but if you just go 2008, so then it's number one. I don't know. I'm just saying things because I'm bored, finding things to talk about. Thanks for hanging out. Embiid got a Batman talent with a Robin personality. He doesn't have the other stuff to peel greatness out of his teammates. It is what it is. I think you're right. I think, you know, look, the way Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid for his lack of leadership. Somebody said, Wilt, we're talking about the last 25 years, 2000 to 2025. The way Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid for his lack of leadership and being late to practice and all of these things. Joel Embiid should have done that with Ben Simmons early on. I've said this pretty much Joel Embiid's career that he's been too nice. You know, when it comes to the front office, the way they're building the roster all these years, all of these things that he wants to go now have an interview and talk about all of these things. Why were you speaking up then? You know? He should have been calling them out from the jump. And he should have said probably year 2, hey, if Ben Simmons ain't going to shoot the ball, trade that motherfucker right now, bro. I need space. Look at me. I'm a 7'2", 300-pound center. I operate on the block. I need space. They go and sign Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, and Ben Simmons all on the same team. That's terrible spacing. Why? Joel Embiid should have been speaking up way earlier, and he should have said, if Ben Simmons isn't going to shoot the ball, get me a point guard who can shoot the ball. You know who's not afraid to speak his mind? Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler came here for 1 year. And he said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, man. Hey, listen, I would love to play with Joel Embiid. I think we could build a roster that can contend. But this Brett Brown shit, no. The owner's an asshole. Ben Simmons won't shoot the ball and everybody's treating him like a fucking baby. Get me out of here. Jimmy Butler lasted 6 months and spoke his mind all kinds of times. Remember when Ben Simmons went to Brooklyn? Dude, it took 2 weeks to hear Kyrie Irving screaming on the television broadcast, shoot the ball, Ben! You know what I mean? But Joel Embiid was here for 9 years. Never said anything. And I think you're right. I think he's just a nice guy. I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, but when it comes to sports, when it comes to being a championship level player and a leader, you're too nice, man. You're too quiet. You're too nice. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Did I have something else I wanted to talk about? Oh, yeah, I did. And it's not Sixers related at all, but I've been engaging in this conversation on the internet now for a couple of days, and I would like to give you my opinion on it if you haven't heard it. All right? Just hold on. Hold on. Just allow me to give my opinion on this topic. All right? It's not going to be offensive. It's not going to get me canceled. But I am going to be honest. All right? WNBA players went out before the All-Star game in shirts that said, pay us what you owe us. And there's a new CBA happening in the WNBA. And I do think WNBA players are going to get paid more. There's a couple things here that crack me up. I think the first thing is there is no new CBA yet. The new TV deal that the WNBA has signed has not kicked in yet. There is no money. For those that don't know, the WNBA generates $0. This is subsidized by the NBA. They have never made a profit. They lose $40 million every year. The pay is what it is. And the argument is that they're making a lesser percentage of revenue than NBA players are, right? That's people's main argument, is that WNBA players are getting about 10% of the WNBA's revenue, okay? NBA players are getting about 50% of the NBA's revenue. They want that to be equal, right? They want to get 50% of the revenue. But the problem is, the NBA is making such a large amount of revenue, they can afford to pay the players 50% of the revenue, and the other 50% can cover the expenses of the business. Probably no problem. The WNBA's revenue is $0. And they're getting, the revenue isn't $0, the profit is $0, but they're getting 10% of the revenue because there's not as much revenue to cover the expenses of the business. If you pay WNBA players 50% of the revenue, the whole WNBA is going to collapse, or the NBA is going to have to put more funding into the WNBA to cover the loss. And that doesn't make anybody any money. So it just doesn't really make sense to me. And on top of this, the reason there's a new TV deal in the WNBA and the reason they are about to get paid more is because of the girl in the top left corner of this photo. Meanwhile, you have WNBA players out here trying to fight her on the court and then making little sly remarks in post games about her. Kelsey Plum went in a post game and talked about, you know, the Clark team wasn't really around when we had the idea to wear these t-shirts. They hate Caitlin Clark. This is the most ironic thing I've ever heard in my life. All of these players are about to get paid more money than they've ever made playing basketball because of the popularity of Caitlin Clark. It's just a fact. But they hate her because they feel like, why is she so popular? We've been here doing this for a long time, and she comes along and now she gets the whole spotlight. Because no, Kelsey Plum, I'm sorry, but in general, nobody gives a fuck. Like, I'm sorry, you know? I'm not taking anything away from you guys. You've been playing basketball. You've been playing hard your whole career. You're right about that. But the general public doesn't care. It hasn't been a product that many people have been watching since it's existed. And whether you agree with it or not, Caitlin Clark's popularity is bringing a ton more viewership to the WNBA, which is equaling a new TV deal, which is going to get all of you paid a lot more money. And you want to be paid a lot more money, but you hate the person that's responsible for bringing you the money. And you know what this is? And this might get me canceled. This is what happens when you put a bunch of women in the same room. Why is that? Why do women hate on each other so much, man? A new young talent comes into the NBA, like LeBron James or whoever. Players aren't all salty about it, right? LeBron James took over the NBA from day one. They weren't all salty about it. They weren't like, oh, LeBron James wasn't here. We've been doing this for LeBron James, this and LeBron James. Because, Mando, we don't get down like that, bro. We say, man, LeBron James is great, man. LeBron James is great. And he's if he's getting more eyes on us from China or whatever, if the game's becoming more global, you know, all respect, all love. There's a random guy, right, who's jealous in the corner, but it's rare and it's weird, you know? I've had dudes hate me. I don't know why. You find out 5 years later, they finally pop off on like a random tweet or a Facebook post, right? Yeah, you've always been a fucking douchebag. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you shook my hands for 5 years, bro. And now I find out you hated me the whole time. That's a little bit, we call that bitch mentality around here. But no, a female comes in, like Caitlin Clark, takes the spotlight. They all hate it. You've been in groups before, in parties before, wherever. You've heard women talk about other women. You know how it gets down. Girl walks in, the other girls, if they don't know her, who the fuck does she think she is? You know? Ew. That dress is so short. Like, I would never wear that outside. Like, I cannot believe she's dressed like that, walking in. You know what I mean? Hate, 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 hate. That's what's happening in the WNBA. And it's just a fact. But it's funny to me that they all want more money, and they're all about to get more money, and it's because of Caitlin Clark, and they all hate her. Anyway, thank you for listening to that rant. But honestly, I've been more invested in the WNBA since I've been more interested in watching it, and not just Caitlin Clark. It's solid hoops. A lot of times. There's a lot of really good players in the WNBA. But I'm going to be honest with you, before the Caitlin Clark popularity, I didn't give a fuck about the WNBA. I hope they do get more money. I really do. That's all I got to say today, man. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. Hit the like button one time. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Show love to my sponsor, Mando. Stop stinking up the joint. Get deodorant plus sweat control. 20% off the entire website. Code SICKOS. I guess you guys stink, bro. I can smell you through the camera. You need Mando. I'm giving you 20% off and free shipping, man. Hope y'all are enjoying your summer, man.